Welcome back. Today, we're breaking down a classic restoration comedy that pits the battlefield against the drawing room. Let's get into George Farquhar's The Recruiting Officer. So, what is harder? Recruiting soldiers for a war or recruiting a partner for life? It's a great question, right? Well, George Farquhar's 1706 comedy actually tackles this head-on. Its hero, he's trying to do both at the same time. And believe me, it's a hilarious look at all the schemes and strategies that, it turns out, are pretty common to both love and war.
All right, Section 1, a war on two fronts. So picture this. We're in the market town of Shrewsbury. The year is 1706. The business of war is absolutely booming. Queen Anne needs men to go fight the French, and the town is buzzing.
And this is where we meet our guy, Captain Plume. Now, he is the definition of a charming rogue. He's a veteran of the wars over in Europe, he's handsome, he's witty, and he's back in his old stomping grounds on official business. And that business is to persuade, trick, and charm pretty much any local man he can find into joining the army.
And how do they do it? Well, listen to this killer sales pitch from Plume's right-hand man, Serjeant Kite. I mean, you gotta love the strategy here. He's not just selling service to the Queen. No, he's selling an escape from all the little miseries of your everyday life. It's brilliant.
Okay, Section 2, the officer and the heiress. So, like we said, recruiting soldiers is only half the battle for Captain Plume. He's got another, much more personal campaign to wage.
So you can see here, Plume is fighting a war on two fronts. He's chasing military recruits, for sure, but he's also chasing the heart of the fiercely independent and, oh yeah, very wealthy heiress Sylvia Balance. And let me tell you, she is the one prize he just can't seem to conquer. Now this is where the play gets really clever, because it shows us two totally different ways to go about finding love. You've got Plume and Sylvia, and their whole vibe is just refreshingly modern, right? It's direct, it's full of this snappy, witty banter, and there's a real honest attraction. But then you have his friend, Worthy, who is stuck in this super traditional, super dramatic courtship with Melinda. And her new inheritance has kind of made her proud and, let's just say, a little difficult. Section 3, Tricks of the Trade. So how are our heroes going to win these battles? Well, turns out, in both love and war, the weapon of choice is deception. Everybody's got a scheme up their sleeve. So a huge part of their arsenal was this little thing called the Queen's shilling. Now, back in the 18th century, this was the ultimate contractual trick. If a recruiting officer got you to accept this coin, whether you knew what it was or not, that was it. You were legally, contractually enlisted in the army. Talk about some serious fine print. And Sergeant Kite turns this into an art form. It's basically a four-step con. First, he gives some big, rousing, patriotic speech. Then, he offers a couple of local guys a little present, just a coin with the Queen's picture on it. The moment they take it, he accuses them of accepting the Queen's shilling. And boom, congratulations, you're in the army now. It's a perfect, diabolical scam. But hey, the men aren't the only ones playing games here. Sylvia is getting pretty frustrated with the limitations put on her as a woman, and frankly, she is tired of waiting around for Plume to commit. She decides to take matters into her own hands with a seriously audacious plan. So what does she do? She becomes the one thing Plume seems to want more than anything else, a male recruit. I mean, what a brilliant countermove. She disguises herself as a young man, calls herself Jack Willful, and her goal is to get close to Plume, test his loyalty, and see if she can win him over. Not as some passive heiress, but as his equal. All right, Section 4, a strategic surrender. So, as you can probably guess, this sets the stage for an incredible climax, where all these recruiting plots and romantic schemes are about to collide in a totally chaotic and hilarious conclusion. And things escalate fast. In the morning, Sylvia, disguised as Jack Willful, enlists in Plume's company. By the afternoon, she's managed to get herself arrested as a rogue, and by evening, she's brought before the court, a court presided over by her own father, who has no idea who she is. The whole courtroom basically becomes the stage for the final, epic reveal. So, faced with Sylvia's absolute cleverness and her devotion, Captain Plume finally surrenders his resistance to marriage. And this is the genius of her plan, right? It works perfectly. By enlisting in his own army, she forces him into a corner. He has to choose his freewheeling bachelor lifestyle or his genuine love for her. And his surrender is just perfect. He basically admits he's giving up everything, his freedom, his ambition, but
but he's doing it for love. And for Sylvia, this isn't just a proposal. It's a complete strategic victory, one entirely on her own terms.
Section 5. Why this play endures. So, you might be wondering, why are we still talking about this comedy more than 300 years after it was written? The answer goes way beyond just the witty dialogue. It really comes down to its remarkable authenticity.
See, this play was literally copied from life. The author, George Farquhar, wrote what he knew. He was a real-life recruiting officer, and the play is based on his own experiences in this exact town, Shrewsbury. The characters, the scams, the slang, it was all pulled from his own life, and that gave the play this gritty, realistic edge that audiences absolutely loved.
So, at the end of the day, the play's blend of witty romance and sharp social satire gives it this timeless, lived-in feel. It works so well because all that amazing comedy is grounded in reality the author knew like the back of his hand. It's a charming love story for sure, but it's also a really sharp critique of the whole military machine.
Which leaves us with one final question to think about. In a world of performance and disguise, what does it actually take to win an honest victory? In love and in war, a world full of performance, maybe the boldest move you can make is knowing exactly when to drop the act and finally, just be yourself.